So I'm going to talk about a story that's close to my heart. I'm all about love. I've always been so deeply engraved with love and relationships, and I've always sought out other sources looking for the best relationships and the best way I felt like I should be treated by others in the way that I knew that I was capable of treating others. And so I sought out a lot in that during all growing up and in my recent years. I want to know if anyone else has shared similar experiences that I have within my twin flame experience. And so I really haven't seen the kind of story that I wanted to hear. Like it's either both twins, like our twin flame story, or it's either saying their development instead of like saying the whole story, like the feelings, the actions, like the moments, like the synchronicities. Like I haven't seen anyone like get all in the meat, the nitty gritty. So I was like, I want to say it because I can't tell anyone else. I don't know who else I can tell that don't think I'm crazy, or who I can tell that don't think like, will tell me like the typical advice, like, yeah, move on, like, are you crazy and all this stuff. So I think it's okay for me to say it here. And so yeah, this is my story with this. And so I went to college 2014 to 2018, and I think 2017 is when I met my twin. It was August, and I think I was doing pretty okay. I think I just got rid of my apartment. I moved back on campus, and I joined a sorority. So yeah, I think I was at a pretty good, decent time in my life. And so I was on a dating app. People usually meet through social media, like an app, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. That's how we meet. Bumble, Tinder. I was on Tinder, and just like the rest of my sorority sisters, but I was on Tinder and matched, and we were talking on and off. I think he said like a joke, like a, what do they call it, a pickup line? He said a pickup line, like a cheesy pickup line, like, I lost my number, can I borrow yours, or something like that. And so like I ended up giving him my number, and we met at the school. He went to school, he was taking online courses, and I was just on campus being an out-of-state student. And so we met up at the school in the parking lot, and when I met him, like I was just speechless. Like I didn't have any words. I didn't know what to say. Like it was just a moment. I didn't even know. Like he was just so breathtaking in everything, and it just took me by surprise. I had to double take. I looked, and then I took a moment, and then I was like, whoa, like, and it was just like this kind of subtleness of presence that just came over me. And so we go up, and we go to the library, and we start kind of, like filling each other out and like talking, and the vibe was just really cool. And so we go upstairs, and like, well, what do you want to do? Like, we're just getting to know each other and everything, and we're talking, and like everything was just so friendly and easygoing and just natural. And it even came to a point where he like took my phone and started taking pictures of himself on my phone. Like on the first time you meet somebody, it was just so natural. And so we're both like trying to like turn up, get into trouble, because we were both like so adventurous and fun and like young and whatever's whatever. Like, let's do whatever now and apologize a bit later. Like, I just want to have a good time. We're like that. And so he was under the age at the time. I was 21, and I think he was 18, and so we're going to get into a bar. And so we're thinking like, how can we get you into a bar? And both of us like come from sheltered homes, so we both don't know what we're doing, but we trying to make something shake. And so we make a tape over, or attempt to make a tape over, to get him into a club, but we failed miserably. And yeah, that was that. And so we just didn't we didn't know what we were going to do next, but we knew we didn't want to like leave each other's presence. Kept enjoying each other's company, so we're like, what are we going to do? Well, we can't go to my place. It entails sneaking into a sorority house with 20 other girls. Like, we can't do that. And he was like, okay, you can go to my place. And I'm like, okay, cool, like we can hang at your place, like that's fine. And so I didn't know if I was going to trail behind him and follow him, or I didn't know if he was going to just take me there. And so I go with him and we're just like talking, and it's just like so peaceful. And so I go down to his place, and come to find out, like I'm in a basement, like at his parents' house, I guess. And so yeah, I'm there, and being there, familiar. I don't know how it felt comfortable in a place that I've never even been. I'm not even from Georgia. I only went to school in Georgia, and just that timing and being there, I don't know why it seemed so much like a comfortable place for me. And so we hung out and we chilled and we vibed, and the next morning I woke up. And I didn't know what to do. Do I go? Is he gonna wake up soon? I was just so confused. And so then he finally wakes up. I was kind of like anxious, like flustered, anxiety, shock, surprise, like who is this man? He's laying next to me, and I kind of relaxed some. And so we go upstairs, and he's just like, you know, like, sorry for how things look around here, like my family's like slobs or whatever. Family's family. So they had a little puppy, and I love the puppy so much, white fur ball. He comes over with 2 plates, and I'm like, never in history ever have I stayed over at a guy's house and woke up to breakfast. I'm like, who is it? Why are you doing this? And he was just like, you know, like, I'm used to it. Like, I felt that was really sweet. And so after that, we just kind of couldn't get enough of each other, telling each other our plans for the day. And I think we had a conversation on Snapchat, like, what are you looking for and stuff like that, kind of really narrowing down what it is that was going to happen, because I think we both kind of felt something within a short amount of time. And so he was just like, you know, I'm not looking for anything too serious. He's super young, but like, I definitely know I want you in my life. And I was like, yeah, like, you know, like, I kind of go with the flow for whatever. And so we kind of established that, and we kind of kept it at like kind of like we were super open and honest with each other, like people we were involved with, like stuff what was going on in our life. And it was like having a best friend. It's like, I remember one night we went to, like, I went to go stargazing, and you know, that was the first person I called. And walking next to him, I think I held his hand or held his arm, and I'm just like, I feel so protected. I feel safe, like, when I'm with you. We go down to open area where the grass was we go down to like closer to the park, because we had to park a little ways. And so we go down and we lay down, and we start like looking at the stars, and then we kind of like lock, and then we just fall and like kind of get tangled up in each other. And he just holds me, like all of me fits into him, and it's just really beautiful. I can't even explain like what happens when our energies collide, and like when we come together. We're like always deep in thought and contemplation about like, how can I be better to make everything around me better. And we would also go to the lakes, and like we can just sit in complete silence, and it's okay. Like, we just know it's an okay silence of mutuality, of comfort, of sanity, and easy. And it's just so, it just fills you up inside. I don't even know if I can even explain the feelings of just wholeness and composure and everythingness in like seconds just with that person. I hope I'm trying my best to. And so Fast forward a little, we're still talking, kicking it. If like his plans get canceled, like say if he had like soccer, or I forgot what sport it was that he was playing at the time, like if that would get canceled, he'd be like, well, do you want to hang out? And I'm like, of course. And so that would just be like my go-to person, like my best friend, so to speak. And so I started calling him bestie because I knew that he didn't want a relationship, so I just like defaulted like to bestie. And stuff started getting pretty serious really fast. It started getting serious when I think we had an argument. I think me and my twin have had like 3 arguments, and I wouldn't even call them arguments. I would call them disagreements. Like, they're so petty. So the first kind of like disagreement we had was when I was over his place and I was on the phone with this guy, and he was like making moaning noises, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, stop that, I'm on the phone. And he's like, like if you call that person back, like I'm gonna do it again. And I was like, I swear, if you do that while I'm on the phone, I'm gonna text every girl on your phone and tell them that you have a girlfriend. And he was just like, no, like that's not happening. And so he changed his phone password, and I was like I was just saying that like as a threat so that you wouldn't make moaning noises. Like, I'm not gonna actually do that. Like, I'm not going to. Like, I earned trust to get the phone password. Like, don't change it. That was the argument. And then like he changed it back, and that was that. Like, that was like the disagreement. That was the first time. Okay, and then the second time was both of us was new, and so I'm like, okay, like I don't want all of this right now. Like, we come and then like come back out here. Like, I just want to go in the house really fast, so let this marinate and then go back out. Like, we're both new to this again, so I'm just like, let's like calm down. And so then like he just like, you know, like no, like no, like you don't give someone a house and just like give them like half of the house. And I'm just like, whatever, or some analogy that he used. And I'm just like, whatever. And so I go in the house and I sit down. I promise you, not even 5 seconds later, this man comes back in the house and he's just like, okay, like, I get what you're saying. I was like, yes, like, that's all I wanted you to see. And I was just like, okay, like, give me a hug. Cause he just like gets me. Like, I explained it 5 seconds later. He just like comes in and I'm like, that's so like hubby material. Like, we just argue like husband and wife. Like, that's the cutest thing ever. And so I was just, he was just like, no. I was like, no, give me a hug. He was like, let's go. Like, let's go. And I was like, I just like love that. I love the dynamic. And so yeah, I was like, that's all I wanted, was for you to just vibe with me. Like, that's all I wanted. And then like, I got you, you know what I'm saying? Down for me, I'm down for you. So yeah. And then things started getting like super intense. Like, it started just slowly falling into place. Like, I'll be out with my sorority sisters and I'll get like super drunk, and then like I'll like call him and he will pick up. He'll be like, yeah, like, all right, I'm coming. And then it would come to a point where every night or every other night I would be staying the night over at his place. It would just be like kind of part of our routine. It would be like something that we just do. And so that became really cool. And so one day, I think he was taking me to school, because he would take me to school, or like I would drop my car off like at the movie theater, and then he would pick me up from the movie theater and take me to his house. And then he was like, you can start parking your car at my house. And I'm just like, no, like somebody lived, like, no, I'm not doing that, no. And so I was just like so older, like going over his house. So bad. Until okay, and so the next morning he's taking me to school, and oh yeah, and mind you, like, this man does the cutest things ever. Like, I'm at his house and like, I don't like to sleep with anything on. Like, I like it completely dark. I like it to be silent. And so he takes his t-shirt and like over the computer, like, you know, like the little light, like saying that the computer screen is on, and like he takes his t-shirt and he puts it like over the light. He was like, yeah, like I know you don't like it, like any light in here. He just does the sweetest thing. Okay, so now fast forward. So the next morning he's taking me to school, and so his mom is like outside too, because I guess she had to be to work early that morning. And so she said, I thought I heard her say my name, but I guess she didn't. And so I came up the stairs and I met his mom. Technically, like, she didn't know I was staying the night or there. And so like when I met her, like the conversation just picked up and everything just was like going, and me and her clicked so freaking well. And she was just like, yeah, you know, like we're having a party, like you should come and everything. And I was like, OMG, that'd be awesome. And so after that, after she invited me to there, like I would stay over his house, and she like would call him in the mornings, and he's not a morning person. And so she'd be like, yeah, like why don't you and Tamia come down to lunch and have lunch with me. And like I got to know her more. And so he decided that he wanted to go to boot camp, and so me and her were like, yeah, like cool. And it's so ironic, like I tell you, this twin flame stuff is so crazy, because when I first met him I was just like, you look like you were already in the service. But like I told you, he was 18 at the time, so that is the youngest age. I think 18 is the youngest age that you can be in the service. And so yeah, that's what he decided that he wants to do. And I was all for it, because I knew he grew up kind of like in a sheltered home, like, and so did I. But I know that he really didn't have like schools. He was even homeschooled, so his like friends were limited. Like he didn't really have that many guy friends. And so I wanted the service for him more than anything. So I was like all for it. I was like, yes, on board, like go, like get out of here, like you got this, champion, and I'm supporting you all the way. And so he picked a job that was something that like kind of was so masculine and headstrong that it fit his role well. But me and his mom was just like, you need to like, you know, do something that's like more for your brain. And another funny fact is, I am in school, my major is psychology and my minor is business, and he's in school, his major is business and his minor is psychology. So that's another fun fact for like the crazy twin flame thing. Okay, so yeah, and we just thought that he could do something that was better for his like intelligence level. He's super brilliant. Like we both love psychology and philosophy. And it's so funny because I would like literally go over to his place and I would like read him my homework, and I'm like, okay, like now let's do this together, because we like have the same interest. And so he's just like, this one class that I struggled with so bad, but I kind of like stayed after class to get more help and ask questions and everything and go over everything that we went over in class. And so I read my homework out to him, and he was just like, you got this one on your own. But yeah, I used to do my homework over there all the time. Yeah, I was really all for him going to the service. I was super excited. He was like training for it, and in some capacity I was just like, I've always wanted to be, not in some capacity, but I've always wanted to be a military wife, because I even wanted to go to the Air Force myself. And then I just like went through this whole like, you know, like awakening and everything. So fast forward, I go to his party, and here is like the kind of like the middle piece, that the batter to the cake. And so he has his going away party, and I make these cute little cake pops for him and his family, and his entire family is there. His mom is like, this is such and such's girlfriend, like this is his girlfriend. And I talked to him and I'm like, why is your mom calling me like your girlfriend? Like, you know, He was like, yeah, you're right, Mom. Best friend to me is my best friend, not girlfriend. And so she was like, okay. That night, like, I met his whole family, and you know, it was so crazy how I kind of like blended in with his family. Like, we weren't like, I wasn't on him like this during his party, and he wasn't on me like this during the party. Like, he went with some part of his family, and then I like went with some part of his family, and like he conversed with whoever, and then I conversed with his family, and it's kind of just like it just all meshed, like it all blended in. Like, they were interested in me, I like was interested in them, and then like we all had the same interest of, you know, him. And so it was really beautiful sharing that and being there with him. And we took pictures together and everything, and I promise you, we took this one picture in front of his family. It was just like when everybody else left, and it was just like the main family in the house, and we took this one picture in front of a Christmas tree, and like we were looking at each other's eyes, and I swear in that moment, like, time stopped. Everything around me was completely like blurred, and I was like locked into him, and like I got tingling sensations all over my body. And it's so crazy, on the time I just said 333. But I've never felt anything like that ever, and it was such a split second because it was pictures that was being taken, and it was a split second when we like kind of locked in on each other, and the rooms like became blurry. Like, I was locked in, and this tingly sensation all happened at once, and it was just like it felt like a soul exchange. Like, we finally recognized each other or something. I don't know what it was. And so that night, when I was taking my puppy back home to his dad, that sounds so crazy, but yeah, like we had like a puppy date because I brought my puppy to go meet his little puppy, and while we were at the party, so it was like all tied into each other. And so that's another thing that happens like in like my, you know, my twin flame journey, is like things just start like matching and making sense and kind of like falling into place. And so on the way to go drop off my puppy to his dad, we just had like this conversation, and I like brought it up again, and I was like, you know, like, where did your mom get that from, like calling me your girlfriend? Like, I know that's not what you wanted. And he was like, well, you know, like, I don't mind. And I was like, but like, where's this coming from? Like, what do you mean you don't mind it? And he was just like, would you be my girlfriend? And I'm like, you want me to be your girlfriend? He's like, you seem pretty dope to me. And I'm like, I would love to be your girlfriend. Like, all of that happened, and I want to say 2 months time, 2.5 months time. All that happened in 2 months time. And I think like in that span, I would have like a little insecurity because like I knew he was talking to this one girl, and like she looked different than me. Like, kind of like a typical type that his type would go for. And so like I kind of had like some insecurity within me, and I was like, you know, like, what if the situation was different? What if it wasn't me? And he was like, but this is the situation, and I choose you. Like, you've always been number one, and like all this stuff, like that kind of insecurity. But I didn't like it was so minuscule. Like, I would bring it up once or twice. Maybe I did bring it up a bit. I don't know. But yeah, so fast forward, we get ready to send him off to boot camp, and right, I think it was 1 week before the whole boot camp, I stayed with him every single night, and we got so close. Like, my car broke down, and he came over there. Like, he would complain about coming to get me from the movie theater, but as soon as I told him my car broke down, he was just like, send me the address. like I'm on the way, and like he fixed it, and like he can be really raw with me, raw to a point where I'm like, okay, like that's just brutally honest and it's too much. Be so hardcore, like, okay, dang, thanks. And so he got me, and yeah, we hung out for at least, I want to say, a week. And then like a week I left. We just get each other, like on each other's level. Like anytime I'm talking about philosophy, he can like dive right in with me. And anytime like sad, I can vent to him, and he's just like, oh, like nobody's team to me, or like, you know, like find a way to make me laugh. And we get each other through music and art, and a lot of his family is like a huge reflection of my family and my childhood, and I click with his family so well. It's so ridiculous. Me and his mom, like if we're not texting, we're like talking on the phone. If we're not talking on the phone, we're like emailing. Like his sisters and like brothers will call me and just like, you know, like I love you, like, or like they'll just like call me and tell me their day. And I'm just like, this is like my home. Like instantly I called his parents mom and dad, and I just like fit in, blended in. Like me and his mom go shopping, like me and the boys, like we do our thing, and then like the girls go to events around town, hang out. Like we all went bowling. Like I just love that family so much. Like when it was snowing, my mom invited me over. Well, I can't even say my mom, our mom, like I don't even know. But yeah, I got invited over to hang out with them, and I actually spent the night because they knew I was alone, and I spent the night there. And yeah, I love them. They're great. And so after that, okay, fast forward boot camp, I wrote to this man every single day, like sending motivational, you know, encouragement. I wrote like, you know, questions. Like I tried to play games with him, and we just wrote each other. And like the letters that we wrote, like all of that stains my memory from the sweetness and like the passion, and just like knowing that that's a tough time, you know, and that I could be there with him through that. And so this journey is just crazy. Like it's like this fictitious person like comes into your life for like a certain space and time, and it's like, and then they just vanish and they leave. Like it just never happened. No one ever met this person. It's just like, am I crazy? Like, is this real reality? And so yeah, it's been so crazy. And so we just wrote each other every day, and it just meant the world to me. Like I'll be like, you know, like that would be my motivation in the morning to like get up and go check my mailbox, like get the day over with, go through all my classes, but I get to check my mailbox today to see if I get a letter. And I remember the first letter I got for after like two to 3 weeks without talking to my boyfriend. I was like going crazy, and I started crying when I get my first letter. And me and his mom like screaming at the top of our lungs, like, ah, like we got a letter. And so yeah, that was a really fun time. And so yeah, like we wrote each other letters. We got closer and closer and closer. I at least thought we were getting closer. And then one day, and you know, like of course you have like this is just everything I ever wanted. Like my boyfriend's in the military. Like I've always wanted that, and I was super excited, and it was a relationship I was enthused about being around. Like every time somebody asked me about him, like I'm glowing, like I'm in a great mood, like honestly and truly and genuine, just like so serene and happy and high. And it just was an amazing ride. It was after, oh, I just remember everything that he wrote to me. You know, like I didn't even like bring up long term. Like I was just really taking it day by day. And so I was really more so kind of, you know, like in the moment, like you know, like you got this, like it's only 3 months, and, you know, like on my side I was doing my thing, but I did kind of like go overboard while he was in boot camp. Like I would like add myself in Facebook groups of like at the platoon he was in, and so I like add myself in Facebook groups, like, you know, like asking people like, you know, like how's their experience going, and I like add myself in like military like girlfriend groups, like we could talk about like whatever like I was in it to win it. Like I'm telling you, I bought like a bow with his last name on it. Like I'm a ride or die. And so that was just that. A little while later I get a letter, I think it was the day after Valentine's Day, and I knew something was up because like the letter before that he sent to me, he was like, I have my insecurities which we won't discuss. And I'm just like, what kind of fairness is that in a relationship? What kind of vulnerability is that? But yeah, and so I get a letter, I think it, oh yeah, and his mom, he was like, she got a letter from him, and he was like, will you be my Valentine? And I was like, what the fuck, like why are you asking her that? Like, yeah, that's cute and all, but I know he like wouldn't say that unless something was up. Like that just isn't his, like that's not what he would say, like that's not him really. And so I was just like, hold on, let me go check my mail, see what I got. And so I get, dear John, cross out John, dear Tamia. I get a letter, and yeah, he was just like, you know, like I wish things were different, I wish I was different, you know, but I think we should see other people. And I'm just like at that moment I was walking to the library and like reading that letter, my heart was pounding, like I could feel it pumping through my chest. It was pounding intensely, and I didn't even know what was going on. Like the room was spinning, my heart was pounding, like I was flustered, my head was starting to get heated. Like I was just like, what is this? Like I couldn't breathe, like I couldn't walk. I was like, so like I didn't know what was going on. And so I called his mom, like we're super close, and so I called her and like I told her what happened, and then I went to go meet up with her, and she was just like, what, like what, this doesn't even make sense, like is he serious, like this doesn't make sense. And like he's really big on jokes, so I was just like I didn't know, like I was like, is this a joke, like is he serious? Like I just couldn't wrap my head around it at all, because I was like, this is so random, like where's this coming from? Like I was just freaking out, like what in the world? And he, like in the letter, he was like, my heart says no, but my like mind says like it's just the right thing, like it's the right thing to do. And so like it took me a while to like respond back, because like at that time I was like, I thought we would like stick through it, you know, like and get through this together. Like I know how great you are and how great I am, and I just like know that like this is it, like this is great, like what do you mean? Like I was just so confused, like why? And then another aspect of it, I was just like, you know, like I have to respect him, I have to respect his space, I have to give him like what he like demands that he wants, or like what he claims that he wants. And so like I kind of like, I was just really confused, I was distraught, I was hurt, I didn't understand. And so like I was seeking advice from everybody, like what did they think about it? Like we were so perfect, like literally it was so random, like I'm telling you, no problems that I knew of, like nothing, like literally like the best thing I've ever had. Like everyone, even my friends, they were confused. They're like, what? That doesn't make sense, like this doesn't make sense. And so like I even like went and sought out like online for help from many people, and so this one man finally made something that made sense. And he was like, all of these people can tell you their opinion and what they think, but only he can tell you why like he wants to break up. Only he can tell you. And so finally, after a week of like sitting with it and kind of like gauging the right response to the letter, and so I was just like, you know, like I don't see how you got what I said and kind of misconstrued that, because I kind of call him robotic, because he can be like, you know, like monotone, like stoic, like, you know, like this gotta get done, and like, you know, kind of like being green, like, you know, like Popeyes or something like that. And I'm like, this, like fun and like girly and like ditzy. Yeah, I was like, you're like robotic. But like I was saying it in like a good way. Like he balances me and stuff like that. And so yeah, I was just like, I don't understand how you like misconstrue that as like a bad thing, like that, you know, like we aren't good for each other, but like I feel like it's a healthy balance. And like I love everything about you and us. And you know, it kind of sucks, you know, but like I accept this, like it's fine, like I'm always here for you. I quoted some stuff and like, you know, put some insiders in there. And like I didn't realize that I fell for him until like I wrote him like this poetic type of spiel about how I felt about him and us and like the experience that we were experiencing together. I didn't realize that like I truly loved him. Like I was writing this and I was like, whoa, like where is this coming from? Like he just makes me want to create and just be more of me and who I am. Like I'm already like ambitious, like I already know exactly what I want, and he just makes me want to be more of that. Like I love singing. He makes me want to sing more, sing louder, let more people hear me. He wants, like I love dance, and he makes me want to like take that to the like next level. Like I just want to be like this big ball of fiery like moving forward energy of like empowerment of greatness. And like I've always, you know, had that sensation of wanting that, but now it's like a bigger desire. Like it's like the fuel of my fire. Like I've just been ignited. Like I've been ignited from like the love that I've felt from this relationship. And so yeah, that was like the worst, hardest breakup ever. And so we kind of went back and forth, and you know, he's just like, I still think about you. I like still mean everything I said. Like you still hold a piece of my heart, and you know, like I'm doing this for us. And yeah, that was, you know, kind of that. And then I kind of still hung out with the family, you know, because we're a family. Well, at least I thought so. And he graduated. I wasn't there. And he hit me up after his graduation. And he told me that I should have came. And he had to like look for my number. And we kind of like talked. And so by the time he got out of boot camp, I was kind of like ending a relationship that I had. And so he like hits me up and we start talking, and how he messages me is he's like he says it's his rank plus his last name, at your service or something like that, something super cute. And you know, like we kind of like talked, and we kind of went straight in for like intense conversation, like picking up back kind of where we left off, but not really talking again about like rekindling stuff, or like, you know, like where we stand with each other. And so we kind of just like played off of that. And it's so crazy because he was stationed out in California for the time being for some training he was going through. And so I think he had Liberty in just in time when me and my family went out to Cali. And I actually got the chance to meet up with him again. And so we hung out, and we were different. We were definitely different. Like it was great being in his presence and seeing him again, but we both knew like it was a different energy, and like we could openly talk about that. I was like, yeah, like what do you think it is? And he was like, yeah, you know, we are at these different places and we just have to get to know each other, you know, at these different places. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. And so fast forward, we hung out, like we had fun, great, like whatever. And like we both get busy and we respect each other's time, so we probably didn't talk really like for probably 2 days. And then like the next day we got on the phone and we kind of talked for 4 hours on the phone about like everything, like from the breakup, our mindsets, to like the growth within ourselves, to our recent meetup when we just hung out in California, and we just talked about everything. What really happened, like when you broke up with me, or like what really was the problem, you know, and like where we go from here. And we kind of talked about all of that, and it was so crazy. I remember this night so perfectly. We were talking about everything in our relationship so far, and can you believe that like we only were together for 6 months, like, and we just fell 6 months, like the twin flame. That's just crazy. All night, and we even end up falling asleep on the phone. And like we didn't even plan to do that. Sometimes we just don't know how to say goodbye to each other. It's just really so hard to say goodbye. Like sometimes we don't even say goodbye because it's really, really hard. Like I remember times where he like would message me and just be like, just like stop and come join the service so we could just be together forever. Like if I had it my way, I would be with you 24 hours. And I just feel that so much. And so we hung out in Cali and we talked about that. You know, we would talk on and off, you know, like he's getting ready for his ball, like, you know, the ball's coming up and he wants me to come, and I'm like, okay, like, yeah, cool, I can come. And then one night I'm out with my sorority sisters, and like he tells me like he's going on a date with this girl, and I'm just like, and like he'll just like send me pictures of like him on Tinder and stuff, and I'm like, why are you on Tinder? Like, what are you doing? He was like, oh, you know, like I'm just like assing around. And I was like, yeah, like last time you were on Tinder, like you found me and like we fell in love. Like what happens if you know, fuck around and fall in love, you know, like, or am I just overthinking? He was like, yeah, 100% you're overthinking it. I'm like, okay. And so like we talk on the phone, like, yeah, the date was pretty nice, it was cool. And he was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, see, this is why, you know, like the relationship we have, like I kind of hate telling you stuff. And I'm like, what? Like you, all of a sudden you hate you telling me stuff? I'm like, okay, like what is it? And he's like, yeah, we're probably going to get tattoos together. And I'm like, you went on one date with her and you're going to get tattooed? Like, and later on I was like, no, in that same conversation I was like, okay, like, you know, like what happens, like do you want to, like, you know, like would you take her to the ball? And he was like, I mean, like, yeah, like, yeah. I was like, but like, you know, I thought you were taking me, I thought you said you were going to take me. And then he's like, I don't want to take my best friend, like you're my best friend. And I'm just like, this man pulled the best friend card on me. And this is where that third fight comes in. And I'm just like, but like, you know, like you said that you were going to take me, like what do you mean? And like we just got into a really bad argument that night. He was like, yeah, I'm supposed to take like a date, like not my best friend. And I was like, but you know, like what are we doing now? Like you don't just tell like your best friend, like, you know, I love you and I miss you. He was like, yeah, we've had a rocky road. Like I want to date this chick, Tamia. And I'm just like, okay, well, I'm gonna go now, and you, all right, bye. And he was like, well, like what are you doing, like who are you with, like, you know, like trying to like, and I'm just like over it. And so, you know, like I talked to my homegirl. I was really sad about that. Like I was so flustered. It was just a rough night. It was really, really rough that night. I'm just thinking that we're working towards something the whole time. And well, I told him before in the messages, I was just like, I like need more time. We didn't have enough time. And he was just like, we'll cross that bridge when it gets there when it gets here. And I'm just like, all this time I've like been wasting, and like, I guess when he said it was over, like that's what he meant. And like it was no like going back anytime soon. Like I don't know why he like pulled me in just to keep letting me go. Like I don't know, I just felt that way so strongly at the point in time. I was just like, how do you like want me to be in your life, and like I'm with you through all of this and like pushing you through everything. I remember one letter, he was just like, don't stop writing me, like I need you, like I love you, like don't stop writing me, like whatever you do. And I even drew pictures, sent memes. Like who's dope like me? Like who? And so I talked to my homegirl, and she was like, no, like don't talk to him, and yada yada yada. And so I didn't talk to him for like 2 days. And then like the 3rd day, I was just like, you know, like you best friend zoned me, like officially. So I guess that's what like we'll just have to like literally be, you know, like we can't be saying I miss you and I love you like if you were in a date a girl, like seriously. And so he was like, Roger, that was the last thing that I heard from him for a while. Like, dang, that was just nothing. I'm just gone, girl. And ever since then, I think like I messaged him, and mind you, I did have a boyfriend after we broke up, and I told him about him, and he's like, that's the beta version of me. And like to a certain extent, I'm just like, I love how like confident he is. And then to another extent, I'm just like, don't nobody care? Like, dang, like he's not you, who cares? And so I did try to have a relationship after that. And so after he told me that he wanted to be with that girl, I had a graduation coming up, and I guess he wasn't coming. But his mom did come to my graduation, and she was there. So I thought that like he would be in the next chapter of my life going forward, but it didn't turn out that way. And so with his mom, I like left her a note, because that's when I was leaving Georgia, because I'm not from there. So I was leaving after I graduated. And so I left his mom with a note that said, you know, like I support you with like all of the decisions you make. Holler at me whenever. Hashtag like twin flame, because we were really big on hashtags. And so I put that in there. I don't know if she gave it to him, but like I asked her to give it to him, because I knew he was going to be coming down for a holiday or something like that. I knew he had like a break coming up, because when we were talking. And so I gave her that note to give him. And like when he wasn't with his girlfriend up north and he did come home, he still didn't say anything to me, but he posted something about me on Facebook. Like I'm the only Jamaican like he knows or like has a reference to, and he definitely posted that. And I know when he went back up there, he deleted that from his Facebook. So we had like a lot of kind of like subtle message going back and forth. Like I would post something, and like he would post something on his Facebook like in response to what I posted. And it was kind of irritating, but we were communicating. So yeah, we didn't really talk after I sent that note. And so then like one day, like I snapped him, and it was opened and I was blocked. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why is he not talking to me at all? Like, we said best friends. Like, what is his deal? Like, why are you acting so weird? Like, I was just like, what the world? Like, is something wrong with me? Like I really didn't understand. And so I bumped into, like, while like he was doing his thing and I'm like doing my thing after college, I bumped into like this one guy that I was madly in love with, like before my twin. I had feelings there, but I'm just like oh baby, but until you felt what I felt. And so like that relationship was like, to me, every other relationship up until this one is like, I'm thank you for the lesson, but like like nothing honestly compares. And he told me one of our letters, I feel bad for any girl after you because like you've just stolen my heart. And I feel all bad for all the guys after you but you're not this. And it's so bad because I really have to stop comparing people to this like great experience that I had. But it was really beautiful, and I'm very impressed by this human being, other soul half of me. After I met my old flame, I was just like, nope, like I just know that I love this, my twin, like I just know that. And I just couldn't subject myself to some stuff that I used to allow. I left Charlotte, like where I'm from, like, and where I was like staying, and I came out to AZ, and that's when I messaged him and I was like, hey, and he's like, who's this? And I was like, your best friend. And he's like, Tamia. And I was like, no, Jesus. And then he's like, well, it's good to know you're still alive. And like, he's just still so funny. And like we had like a brief conversation, like, oh, have you like broken a bone? Like be high off of a conversation. And then he's like, no, like I haven't. And that was like the end of the conversation. Never heard from him. I'm pretty sure like I was blocked again. And so whatever, fast forward, I decided to like move to China. And so I get to China, whatever, you know, like he'll come when he comes. Like I want to do my thing. Like I still want to see the world. I can't let this affect me. Like I have stuff I want to do. You know, I would love to do this stuff with him, but like I can't force him. Like I can't put my life on hold. I can't like cry and pout about it. I cried every day for at least a month after we broke up. And another side note, it's so crazy that a breakup happened because I knew that I was like getting so invested in him in our relationship. I like prayed to God, I don't want something good to be taken from me later on because I do have stuff to do, and just like tell me if this person is good for me right now. A week later, that's when he broke up with me. And then like before he told me that he wanted to date that girl, I was like, God, again, show me where me and him is at. That's when he told me he wanted to date someone else. I'm just like, divine timing and patience is the only thing I can think of. And so I went to China and I messaged his mom, you know, like I see her as my mom, and I go to China and like, you know, like hold it down, and like I love and miss you guys. And so then I was still there and I had a girlfriend and everything, and I didn't really expect that relationship. That's why I was so receptive to it, because I was like, what does this relationship have to show to me? And I'm like really open to, you know, the soul and togetherness and being loved and giving love. And so I dated a girl while I was in China, and a part of me did want it and a part of me didn't want it, because again, I'm like open to love and I'm receptive to it, but then I didn't. For what, you know, like just for what? Like I'm not feeling it. And so I dated her for a while and learned a lot. And even when she would do stuff that would piss me off, like I would just look back, and my twin wouldn't do that. Like I know for sure he wouldn't do that to me. And I would just compare her and him together, and it was so unfair. And I hated it for myself that I did that, and I hated it for her that I did that, and I hated it for him that I kept on like putting him kind of like on this pedestal, because he definitely shouldn't be on one, because of, you know, like definitely just like throwing me off the back of a pickup truck. I felt bad about always going to him on second thought when something was bad in my relationship, or like just thinking about him in between thoughts. Like I just felt really bad about that. And so what I did was on Facebook, I finally messaged him like this long message, like spewing out everything of how like I really felt. And I felt like I haven't done that before. And I feel every time I reached out to him, it was from a place of love, and because I wanted to like, I feel like I was overcoming something. Like, to me, what are you so afraid of? Like, just do it. Like, what are you afraid of? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just a person. Like, you either gonna vibe with me or you not gonna vibe with me. And so I've always come from like a place and just like seeing what's up with him. He's my best friend. Like overall, I did genuinely want like my best friend. Like, why aren't you talking to me? Like, why aren't you telling me what's going on? And so I saw Out like as just my bestie. But then somebody else pointed out to me and was like, would you honestly be his best friend and like still be okay with like girlfriend something? I don't know, but it all made sense. And I was like, no, like that makes sense. And so, you know, like, I see us doing this, X, Y, and Z. And he messages me back and was like, I wish I was mature enough to not have taken for granted what we had. And like, I was happy to get a response, like, cool, whatever, great. And like, then his like old girl like comes and messages me too, and like, you know, says her little thing like, I don't appreciate you messaging my fiance, we're getting married, X, Y, and Z, and all this stuff. And I'm just like whatever, like, I'm just talking to him, like, that's him. I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's boundaries, healthy boundaries. Clearly, it's like, you know, we have our own stuff to deal with. So yeah, I learned he was engaged, and then in December he got married. His journey definitely has been a roller coaster for me, but it has opened me up on so many levels just by the growth aspect of being a twin flame and what it really means to everyone. And also, as like the divine person that you come here as, you already have so much of your identity. And so all of this other stuff is just playing a part and just blossoming that aspect of you. And so that's what definitely this has been for me. And so much in my soul, I know that that's what I want, but like, I just hate myself sometimes because I'm just like, what did I do wrong? Like, what am I doing wrong? Because clearly they are a reflection of you. And it's like, the more stuff I keep doing, like, I feel like I'm doing everything for myself. Like, I've been to China to go teach English. I wanted to travel the world and like get different people experience. I went to another country for vacation. I'm like going back home to do something I've always wanted to do. I've graduated from college. I'm going back to school for even more. Like, I feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, but I feel like the more I keep doing what I feel is in my path to do, like, I just feel like the more like further he's getting. And I'm just like, I don't know what more to do. Like, I've come from a place of love. I've like always been like, you know where home is. The only thing I can do is just blossom in everything that I've learned, because from my last relationship I've learned like the biggest thing that I needed to know. And so I guess it's just really applying all of that accumulated knowledge and just hoping that, you know, that is the person at the end of it all, or, you know, like whatever. And I've always wanted someone to be like right on my side along my journey so that we could like do it together. But like, I really don't know, like, and it's really frustrating because as like divine feminine, you're like nurturing, peace, calm, like holding it down. The knowing aspect of being like intuitive and remaining calm and still, and, you know, being the beautiful representation of, you know, femininity. And it can be really difficult, but also having that divine energy and going after exactly what it is, gaining knowledge, and also being like just a conscious being, and knowing that this is just all not real, you know. And so I just have to remind myself that too, that it's just all nothing in the end of it all. And so like, I kind of keep that on a wider scale, that if I know that someone will be for me and it will be better than this connection, or it will be better, it'll be better. This may or may not, you know, be the final stop, especially if all this stuff is happening around it. And like, that's not really what I see for my future, but then like you never know what life throws at you. And so it's definitely having faith, taking it one day at a time. And I swear I see our numbers all the time: 83, 11, 11, 333. Like I see the numbers all the time, and I just don't know. Like I really want to be a part of the family still, like all his sisters and his brothers. And I'm just like, OMG, they were little before. Like I don't even know when he'll talk to me again. Like they're probably bigger now, and it just gets really frustrating because you do like paint this picture of what you do see in the future for the two of you, and like I just really can't see it with anyone else. And I've never actually literally seen myself with anyone else other than this person. Like even when I met him, like I couldn't see it, and then like after I fell, I was just like, dang, like that's all I can see now. And so I just feel the energy still. I feel like I'm doing what I can do to, like, you know, spread my brand message, and that's all I will continue to do, and just be still. And I don't know, I'm really happy to be a twin, and it's nice, but like it would be nice to have the physical connection. But an amazing experience, like no other. And so, yep, that's my story. This man is my reflection. I am so loyal to the point it doesn't make sense, and this nigga is 10 toes loyal. You can't even be mad at it. And you can be mad because he's not being honest. Like, why don't you just say, like, I don't want to deal with you, or like, why can't you just get what you want? Like, I don't know, I'm not in his shoes. That's my story. Life is in the air. We are evolving, we are growing, and I appreciate this growth, honestly. And I have to kind of keep that in mind, that like we are on a mission, you know? And the love of my life, like it is law. It is law that I will attract the love of my life. I will have a king sitting in a nice big chair on the throne where I'll be crowned queen. So he can climb on board, not climb on board, but I'll be manifesting my dreams, because that's what I'm here for, the experience and the journey. And so like, yeah, he does make me just come alive, and I'm thankful for it, because I'll take it everywhere. Like, I don't know, I guess you get scared if you think you can't find better, but it's like nearly almost impossible not to find better. But then we do have our own encoded DNA. I don't know, but I just gotta have faith and believe that what is meant for me will find, will come. So yeah, good luck to everyone and their twin flames. If you have a story, please comment and tell me if you have like similar synchronicities or things falling into place. Let me know, because this is crazy. We can talk about it. And yeah, I'm all ears. I love listening to people's stories. And I know I'm trying to write a book about my twin. And yep, it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be like the descriptive, like the nitty gritty, like the conversations, like the real feelings. And yeah, this man just makes me want to create. Like, I just feel on top of the world. And just knowing that unconditional love from this entire journey is just the most beautiful thing ever. Like, I'm like, wake up on a high flying disc, like just high, just high, just high. And everybody's like, I love like the vibe. And I'm like, it's all love, like it's all good, like we're all good. And I feel like that's like another thing that maybe he can't like grip around it. Like, I'm doing this girl so wrong. And like she's just like hi. So yeah, I have to learn my own personal boundaries also. And yeah, I'm thankful for everyone who's taught me so much. All right, guys, I'm about to go to sleep. I'm super tired, and I love you, Twinkling. Damn. Good night.